Hi, this is Colin. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not sure I'm going to listen to this show. It is a compilation of very, very funny appearances and very, very musically satisfying appearances by the singer-songwriter Jill Sobule, who was, I think the most beloved and cherished guest on our show. She was with us 7 times over 13 years. At least 4 of those times, she and I just sat in the studio with no plan. We just talked, and she played and sang, and we talked some more, and we just had a kind of relationship on the air that maybe is sort of once in a lifetime. Jill died on May 1st in a house fire. The reason I'm probably not going to listen to this show is I'm still not entirely over that. It's been a very, very hard thing to get through. But that doesn't mean you can't enjoy some of the wonderful, wonderful things she did in those visits with us. Hi, this is Colin. Last Thursday night, May 1st, my partner came upstairs to where I was working and said that Jill Sobule had died. And that was a really hard moment for both of us, and it led to a few days of hard moments. Her music had become very important to us. We'd also gotten to know her at house concerts. One of her songs became kind of an anthem during a multi-year crisis in our lives as a couple. But Jill also was just a massive force on the Colin McEnroe Show. She appeared on the show 7 times. And because of who she was just a remarkably present person. When she was somewhere, she was 100% there. When she was with you, she was 100% focused on you and kind of ready to do whatever it was that you were going to do. I don't think any guest, and we love a lot of our guests and we want to keep having relationships with them, I don't think we could say that any guest had quite the impact on our show that Jill Sobule did. So what we're going to do today is review some of those appearances. Quite frequently, she would come in here. Pretty much basically, she would come in here, and the whole plan was to have no plan. The producer was always told, don't make any notes because they're just going to do whatever we would just start somewhere and see where that took us. So you're going to get a little dose of that, and you're going to get some of the songs that she sang. And I should probably point out that on 2 occasions, I asked her to write a song right on the spot. One of them was for a show that we were doing, knowing that it was kind of an annoying topic. We had decided we were going to do a show about towels. So while I had her in the studio, I said, could you write a song about towels? She took, maybe 10 minutes, maybe a little bit more than that. And here's what she came up with.
It's a little bossa nova. I wasn't sure that I liked him. I'm not sure if he was fun. But then he took me to his bathroom, and I knew he was the one. He had big, fluffy, expensive towels, the kind at the Ritz. He had big, fluffy, expensive towels I let him kiss because he had big, fluffy, expensive towels. Wouldn't you? Of course you would.
Woo! Woo! But Jill on our show was about a lot more than towels. So let's get ready to hear some of the experiences we had with her over the course of 13 years.
I'm going to do a song.
All right.
And here's a song actually I think you asked for.
Okay, this is a request.
Why are all our heroes so imperfect? Why do they always bring me down? Why are all our heroes so imperfect? Statue in the park has lost his crown. William Faulkner, drunk and depressed. Dorothy Parker, mean, drunk and depressed. And that guy 7 years in Tibet turned out to be a Nazi. Founding fathers all had slaves. The explorers slaughtered the braves. The Old Testament God can be so petty. Paul Paul McCartney jealous of John, even more so now that he's gone. Dylan was so mean to Donovan in that movie. Pablo Picasso cruel to his wives, but favorite poets took their own lives. Orson Welles peaked at 25, ballooned before our eyes. And he sold bad wine. Why are all our heroes so imperfect? Why do they always bring me down? Heard Babe Ruth was full of malice. Lewis Carroll, I'm sure, did Alice. Plato in the cave with those very young boys. T.S. Eliot hated the Jews. FDR did save the Jews. All the French joined the resistance after the war. William Faulkner drunk and depressed. Dorothy Parker mean drunk and depressed. Let's just all get drunk and depressed.
I love that song. You do seem to have kind of a fascination, if two songs can equate to a fascination, with a kind of lost 60s icon. You have one song about Joey Heatherton. You have another about Bobby Gentry. You recently met Charo at a baggage claim.
She was fantastic, by the way.
Yeah, tell us about Charo.
Well, Charo, she looked like Charo from my childhood. She I don't know. She's either a pact with the devil or the best plastic surgeon you've ever met. But she had her guitar with her, and I'm sure people come up to her all the time and say, "Oh, I remember you from The Tonight Show." And I was like, "What guitar are you playing? I'm a big fan of your guitar playing." So automatically she opened up, and she took lessons from Segovia.
I saw that on your blog, actually.
I know,
yeah.
and she just wanted to talk about guitar. And she was also saying how that's really what she loved. And she realized the only way, as a woman back then, she had to do the coochie coochie. So there was something, we kind of had a deep conversation.
Yeah.
And I wish I would have taken her number, because on my next record, I so want her to be the lead guitar player.
That would be very cool.
Wouldn't that be great?
Either that or you have to write a Charo song. Maybe she's too big to encompass in one song.
Right. That's actually great to write a Charo song.
Write a Charo song. That would be the third part of the triad: Joey Heatherton, Bobby Gentry,
and maybe the woman. See, these are you can't get away from your early childhood, especially TV years.
Right.
What about a song about the secretary who was in Mannix?
Oh, Peggy.
Peggy.
Peggy? Was her name Peggy?
Yes.
I get her mixed up with Susan Jane James as Peggy Maxwell on The Name of the Game.
Right.
But I think Peggy was also the name of the woman who was on
that would be a
Mannix.
really obscure.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would hit too
no,
many
I like the
people.
idea of the Mannix one too, because at a certain point, somehow or other, you'd want to segue into da 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 ba da da. Anyway,
one of the best theme songs ever, Lalo Schifrin.
Yeah, Lalo Schifrin, exactly.
I'm from Colorado, and we used to. My friends who lived in Colorado Springs, which has that. Focus on the Family has their own area code.
Right.
That's how big it is. But my friend used to have a bumper sticker that said, "Focus on your own family." Right above her other one that said, "When the rapture comes, can I just have your stuff?"
Well, yesterday when the storms were coming and you were trying to get to Hartford in the midst of all these storms, and there were, now, of course, one of the things we know about the rapture is you're going to get a push notification on your phone, right?
Yeah, that would be so great.
There'll be this little thing saying the rapture's happening in 10 minutes.
Do you know, one of my favorite things is I remember Simpsons where the rapture was coming and Homer, what's the daughter's name?
Lisa.
Lisa. So, Lisa was starting to float up above to the heavens because she's the good one. And Homer takes her leg and goes, "You're not going anywhere, young lady." And it pushes her down.
Well, there was a sort of a rapture-oriented, I think, late 19th century cult in New England, I'm pretty sure, where they believed that maybe I may have the date wrong, but they believed that some version of flying saucers were coming to take them away. And a couple of times they would arrive on these hillsides at a preordained night when this was supposed to happen. And somehow or other they had come to the conclusion that the flying saucers could not carry metal. They'd been told by their leader that this was the case. And so they took out the zippers of their pants and they cut them out, and then the eyelets of their shoes so there'd be no metal on them. And I always thought, like walking home when the flying saucers didn't come with no zipper?
I'd be pissed.
Yeah, I know. It just seems like this is the worst, the most kind of disappointing thing in the world.
You know, I have a couple songs about the rapture.
You want to sing a rapture song?
Okay, this one has never been on a record or anything. Maybe I should, but I love having conversations with people that may not think like me. And this was a few years ago, a guy who was an evangelical preacher who also happened to be an ex-gay. And believed in that therapy, the conversion therapy. But we had a nice talk, and I wrote him this little song. What if I'm wrong? What if you're right? What if there isn't an intelligent design? When the day comes and judgment begins, will I be left behind? But what if I'm wrong? You're not correct, and there's no hellfire when we're dead. Regretting all the boys you could have kissed, all for nothing. It wasn't a sin. You were busy getting ready for the rapture, for the rapture, for the rapture. You were busy getting ready for the rapture, wanting us all. What if I've been a really nice gal, follow the golden rule, but now, because I don't believe in your best pal, you say I'll burn forever. But let's say he's real, but not like you sell. He's more like the nice hippie in God's spell. Well, I'd think that he was swell. Would the bum you out as you were busy getting ready for the rapture, for the rapture, for the rapture. You were busy getting ready for the rapture, wanting us all. I'll give to you, there is a God, all powerful, he sees it all. But do you think that he's that small to care about your candidate, your football team, or who you made? No, God is great. And everyone sings together. Ba 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 ba. What if you're wrong, and so am I? And what really happens when we die? And what if L. Ron Hubbard, he's right? Well, that would bum me out as you were busy getting ready for the rapture. Come on, for the rapture, for the rapture. You were busy getting ready for the rapture, warning us all. The goddess is great. Yep.
Jill Sobule. I never recorded. I want to talk a little bit more about this because I know that religion is an abiding interest in you, for you, and that you've done a project in the past. So we should first of all say you were brought up Jewish. Do you want to use the A.J. Jacobs?
Let's use the A.J. Jacobs.
Go ahead.
It's like my family was Jewish. You know the exact quote.
That your family was Jewish the way Olive Garden is Italian.
Italian restaurant. Yeah. That's how we grew up. Yeah. I remember moving to New York and going, wow. These are Jews. Yeah, Denver Jews. But, you know.
Well, you went a little bit further with this, right? You got really interested. You said you wanted to do something where you talked in a non-threatening, non-confrontational way with people about maybe a little toned down from where Bill Maher starts out.
Yeah.
And you wound up, I believe.
Not being a jerk.
Yeah.
With it.
And you wanted to have it in a holy place, so Las Vegas obviously would be where you would do this, right? Yeah. And didn't you wasn't like L. Ron Hubbard's grandson or there was a Hubbard as part of the. Explain what this was. It was kind of like a festival.
There was it was a rock festival in Las Vegas, and my friend was helping to curate it and knew that I wanted for a podcast or something and never did it, a thing called speed dating with God, where someone who's, I can't even go so far as to say I'm an atheist because I've been to a lot of atheist conventions. I used to do them with Julia and playing at them. And sometimes I felt that as dogmatic
Right.
in certain ways.
Yeah.
As dogmatic. So I grew up kind of, with no dogma, kind of open, and was the idea of like speed dating with God. I'd like to, spend a few days with you, like in a civilian's journalistic manner, but and tell me why that this I should maybe believe this or research this. So this was a music festival. It was actually called Speed Dating with God, and we had panels with people that either came from or still in different faiths and religions. So we had an Aztec dancer. We had the woman from Saudi Arabia. Rotana's amazing, and she can't sing in her own country. And I love talking to her. I remember, people, my style of interview, most people wanted to ask her about the oppression of women there, which is a real thing. But mine was like, okay, I know these women are having affairs and heterosexual, and how do you guys do it? Where do you go? So those were the kind of things I wanted to know. And then L. Ron Hubbard's grandson,
Jamie DeWolf,
who's an amazing performance artist, kind of a poet, storyteller. But he grew up. What was interesting was his father, who was supposed to take over Scientology, and revolted against his dad, but became a hardcore evangelical. So Jamie grew up like really kind of hardcore, like can't listen to rock records kind of thing. So he came from those two things.
I have found the same thing too, which is that atheists, oddly enough, can be extremely intolerant of people who are not atheists.
I know. And I know plenty of them.
Yeah.
I remember one time I was with one of my friends and we were touring somewhere in Montana. We were doing something together. And she was people were saying, oh, it was an old prison, the old Western prison. And they were saying to her, late at night we hang out here and there's ghosts. And of course, being this kind of, excuse me, kids, there's no such thing as a ghost. And I'm like, Sally, let him have fun. Let them have fun. Stop it.
It's really, ghosts get it both ways, right? Because the Christians don't want to celebrate Halloween because it's witchcraft. And then the atheists don't want to give ghosts any props. You really have to feel kind of bad for ghosts at this point. I mean, what if you're a ghost?
Have you? Have you ever seen a ghost? I never have.
I have been in situations where I felt as though some odd presence that I couldn't see was around. I've been in situations where I used to stay at a house on the island of St. John quite a bit, and the man who had the house built had died. And I was constantly having the sensation that someone had just got up and walked out of the room. But then I would look at all the people who were there, and no one had left. And this happened over and over again in that house. So among other things, I felt the ghost didn't find me that interesting. If the main experience of the ghost that you're having is him just getting up and leaving, I obviously don't know how to rap with ghosts.
I guess.
Yeah. But I don't – I mean, would you, like your friend, reject out of hand the notion that there are ghosts?
No, I don't. First of all, it's fun. I don't want to – and friendly ghost. I love
It's not always fun.
No. I just think, why ruin someone's fun? If it's something that has no negative impact on anyone's life.
Yeah. All right. So rather than dwell on that, though, would you like to do another song for us?
I would like to do another song. Oh, my Lord, I think I saw the light. It was in the kitchen, blinking oh so bright. And standing there was an angel, making angel dust. She said, go grab your blanket and you can come with us. I don't want to wake up. I don't want to wake up. I don't want to wake up. Don't want to wake up. Oh, my Lord, I think I've been redeemed. tell the honest truth, I always wanted to believe. And now I'm flying through the skies. Snakes down there below me, they can't jump this high. I don't wanna wake up, I don't wanna wake up, oh, I don't wanna wake up, don't wanna wake up. Sang with wise old Solomon, sang his dirtiest song. I met with Cain and Abel, and we all got along. Blew that horn with Joshua, the wall came tumbling down. I wrapped my blanket around me, dug that crazy sound. I don't wanna wake up, I don't wanna wake up, I don't wanna wake up, don't wanna wake up. Cross the river Jordan, back down the Silver Lake. When I rise, will it be reborn or wake up with a bad headache? But now I hear voices of the ones I hold dear, and in my slumber there's nothing left to fear. I don't wanna wake up, I don't wanna wake up, oh, I don't wanna wake up, don't wanna wake up, I don't wanna wake up, oh, I don't wanna wake up, oh, I don't wanna wake up, don't wanna wake up. Ooh.
Hi, this is Colin. What you're listening to is a compilation of the many appearances that Jill Sobule, the singer-songwriter, made on our show 7 times over the course of 13 years. We lost her last week on May 1st in a house fire. Here are some of the things we want you to help us remember.
I lost my keys, I lost my heart, lost my car in the parking lot, lost my voice but can hear her sing from the island of lost things, island of lost things. I lost my phone, I lost my way, lost the hours of the day. Grandma's ring swirled down the drain to the island of lost things, island of lost things. I lost my shirt, I lost my aim, lost the person I could blame. I wish I could recall his name, the island of lost things. My mom was not a hoarder, she threw everything away. My 45's my favorite toys, shoebox full of Polaroids, plastic on the good couch, everything was clean. A vacuum bag of treasures in the island of lost things. I lost my wallet, my ID. Is someone else becoming me? My girlfriend somewhere on the seas to the island of lost things. I'd like to book a trip there, and maybe I could find, traipsing through the ruins, the dreams I left behind. I could put it in my pocket, and I'd clip its wings, so we could never fly again to the island of lost things. lost my pop, I lost my fizz. Oh, the wonder that I miss. I miss the taste of your sweet kiss, the island of lost things. And if you ever go there, call me if you find what happened to my true love, the one I left behind. Is she underneath the palm tree, staring out to sea, spinning my old records on the island of lost things? I lost my keys, I lost my heart. I lost my Kia in the parking lot. I lost my voice but can hear her sing from the island of lost things.
Jill Sobule, The Island of Lost Things. So, when I listen to the song, of course, it's very reminiscent of the Elizabeth Bishop poem, The Art of Losing.
Right.
And obviously there's a lot of poignance in there about, things we lose, people we lose. I've been actually thinking a lot, this is a much more pedestrian place to go, but I've been thinking about how much time I spend looking for things that I've lost. Like, how your iPhone at the end of the week, I think it's on Sunday, your iPhone tells you like how much time you spent on your iPhone and how that compares to, and
yeah.
My iPhone will sometimes say, you have a problem. You need to stop looking at me so much. I'm an iPhone and I'm worried about you. But I think they should also tell you how much time you spent looking for your phone, like over the course of the week. Because I spend an enormous amount of time around my house, time I will never get back or be able to devote to writing my masterpiece, just looking for my phone because I don't know where it is.
Let me just ask Tony, who's in here with me, who's my road manager. Tony, how many times do I say, where's my phone, or I left it at the hotel or something?
Several times each day.
Yeah.
Several times each day, he says. But here's the thing, is that you panic, you can't find your phone, but when you find it, it's joyful.
It is a good feeling, yeah.
It's a good feeling.
Yeah. Phone, wallet, keys, all those things. When you get them, when you do find them, it's a really good feeling.
And yesterday I was in New York and I left my purse and my wallet at the restaurant and didn't remember till I got back home, and it was just a couple blocks away. And it's just so great, that feeling of no one stole anything. This is New York City, and it's right there on the chair. It was really... People are nice.
That is true. This is definitely the glass half full version of losing your phone a lot.
Yes.
What you're giving us.
I lose things a lot. And I like to say it's not that I'm getting older, because I've always been this way, but also I think, like you said, we're on the phone all the time. Our hard drive is full. It's like our brain is a little circle going around, around, around. We get too much information. So it's not us. It's that.
Yeah, I think it's that. I do feel as though, I feel like our parents would lose their wallets and their keys. We've just added another thing that we can lose that they didn't. But I think, I'm going to talk to Apple about this. I think what they need to do is they have to put a little button on the side of the phone, and when you put it down, when you get home or wherever you are and you put it down, you press the button and it gets way bigger. It gets like 4 feet tall or something.
Oh, that's genius.
Yeah, because then the problem is it's not visible. It's not big enough so that you would see it sticking out from under a bed or something. But if we're big, I think we would find it faster.
Don't you do you use Find My Phone?
No.
I do that all. I mean, then it beeps you. You put it on, and it's really, yeah.
All right. So, not to work you like a rented mule here or anything like that, but I think the fans out there would love to hear you sing something else. And
here we go. I'm in the wings when you push me on. I never learn the words to the songs, and there I stand naked, they're staring at me, laughing at me. I'm by the locker, turning the dial, The hallway is empty, it stretches for miles. Then I'm on a boat, headed over the falls. You reach for my hand, but it just breaks off. Suddenly wake up was only a dream. Back in the guilt cage that you made for me. When you are working or fast asleep, I put my headphone on. I put my headphone on. I'm in the backyard, bearing the bones. Don't know why I did it, hope no one will know. I can't seem to hide the remains of my crime. Never learned to fly. Suddenly wake up was only a dream. Back in the guilt cage that you made for me. There might be someone who listens to me. I put my headphones on. I put my headphones on. Flip the record, headphones on. Cohen sparked the seventh song. Jonas sings, love is gone, love is gone. Genesee and 17, that song from 10cc. Lone again, naturally. Someone has it worse than me. Sam Stone, Major Tom, Captain Jack and Delta Dawn. Alvin Tustic, Sweet Jane, music wash away my pain. I put my headphones on. Ooh, child, things are gonna get easier. Ooh, child, things are gonna get easier. Ooh, child, things will get brighter. When and where and what was it like, your first kiss?
My first kiss, first of all, I was, I think, 37. No, but I've been in a boys' school, and I'm an only child, and I didn't know anything about girls. I don't think I've ever told anybody the story I'm about to tell.
You know what? No one could see this, but all of a sudden you turned 5 shades of red. And this is what happens when you ask.
So apparently, we're now going to have to go out of this break with I Kissed a Girl, although it's the one song I never ask you to play. But so there was a girl that had been interested in me, and I really had no experience of anybody being interested in me. And so we started kind of dating-ish, and there was a moment where, like when you're that age, too.
Wait, how old were you?
36 maybe. I'm not sure. So no, I was like a junior, I guess, maybe. And I've been in a boys' school. I had no skills with girls. I didn't know how to talk to them, dance with them, or do anything with them. So, and that's where this story is going. So, you're like driving around in cars together, so we're probably in Jimmy Alderman's Pontiac Le Mans, and there's some people in the front seat, and this young woman, her name was Laura, and I are in the back seat, and she suddenly turns to me to kiss. She wants to kiss, and so we kiss, and I think, wow, well, I finally have actually kissed a girl. And so
so you kissed?
We kissed.
But was there tongue involved? Or was this
is public radio. I have to live in this town.
Public radio? Yeah, but that's first. It's still first base.
I have to go to a Whole Foods this afternoon.
Okay. All right. You don't have to answer.
Well, I think the next part of the story is going to give you the answer.
Okay, go ahead.
So the next day, my friend Martin sat down with me, and it turned out he started having a conversation with me, and it turned out that that the girl who had kissed me had then asked her friend, Betsy, to talk to her boyfriend, Martin, so that Martin could come and discuss kissing with me because I was so bad at it. And so my friend Martin had to sit down and say, in this very awkward way, kind of, I've been asked to discuss kissing with you. I don't think he put it exactly that way, but I was a problem kisser enough so that
what did he say?
I needed to be in a remedial class, which was Well, he sort of described. I like this is a long time ago, but it would have been like 1970, 71, something like that. I remember every word of it. But he kind of gave me a sort of sense of what his approach to kissing was.
What was that?
I don't. First of all, that might be a violation of his privacy, and I also don't remember. But it was certainly different from my approach to kissing, which was just completely inadequate. So my beginning as a kisser was so much like so many other things, which was that I immediately found out completely misunderstood, what I was supposed to be doing.
So
I hope you're happy, Jill Sobule.
This is
I've never told that story, I don't think, to anybody.
That is so great.
Yeah.
So that was it.
Martin's a dentist now. Is that important?
Yeah, and his name? No. Because I want to call him and ask him for some advice.
All right. Yeah. No, I don't think that's covered by your insurance.
Well, so did you kiss again? Did you guys kiss again after that?
We went on. Presumably, I improved.
Well, you must have because she continued to see and you guys continued to kiss.
I guess.
So it was successful.
She became a doctor too, I think. Yeah. All right. So we have, and not just so I can get out of the story, but like we've really blown up the clock right here in a really bad way. So you have to play. Now you don't have to play I Kissed a Girl just because we had that
I'm doing
conversation.
it, damn it.
Okay.
Jenny came over and told me about Fred. He's such a hairy behemoth, but she said, dumb as a box of hammers, but he's such a handsome guy. And I opened up and I told about Larry, and yesterday how he asked me to marry. Not giving him an answer yet, I think I can do better. And we laughed, compared notes. We had a drink, we had a smoke. She took off her overcoat. I kissed a girl. She called home to say she'd be late. He said he worried, but now he feels safe. I'm glad you're with your girlfriend. Tell her hi for me. Then I looked at you, you had guilt in your eyes, but it only lasted a little while. Then I felt your hand above my knee, and we laughed at the world. They can have their diamonds and we'll have our pearls. I kissed a girl. Well, I kissed a girl, her lips were sweet. She was just like kissing me. Kissed a girl that changed the world. I'm so glad I kissed a girl. I kissed a girl. And we laughed at the world. They can have their diamonds and we'll have our pearls. I kissed a girl. I kissed a girl. Well, I kissed a girl, her lips were sweet. She was just like kissing me, but better. I kissed a girl. Well, I kissed a girl, changed the world, but I'm so glad I kissed a girl. Woo!
Biggest credit on this show today goes to Jonathan McPants, who has the enviable or unenviable job of knitting all this stuff together, figuring out how to fit together 7 different Jill Sobule appearances, often full show appearances. So props to him for the work that he did. The pieces of the show were engineered over the last 13 years by the likes of Eugene Amatruda, Kat Pastor, Dylan Reyes, and Chion Wolf. The interviews on this show were originally produced by Betsy Kaplan, Jonathan McNichol, Patrick Skahill, Lily Tyson, and Chion Wolf, with help from interns John Healy and Chelsea Edgar.
Okay, I'm going to try this. It's hard to do solo.
Okay.
You got to think of a whole Burt Bacharach band when
Okay.
I'm doing this. Ba ba da ba da da ba ba da ba da da ba ba da da ba ba da ba da da ba ba da ba da da. I used to have the world in my handbag. How did I manage to blow it? I missed the bus, I lost my heart, and an awful lot of mornings. I used to have the stars in my pocket. Now I just watch them on TV. But friends, they've all run away, but they'll come back again. 'Cause I'm filled with good vibrations. I'll sweep across the nation. We'll have a rainy day parade. I used to live with someone who loved me. Somehow they ran out of patience. I regret those things I said. They were so uncalled for. But can't you see the weather is changing? The dark clouds over my head are about to burst. I've seen the worst. Let it pour all day. 'Cause I've got that old sensation. Getting back on my medication. We'll have a rainy day parade. You're gonna want me back. Parade, you're gonna let me in. We're gonna wash our sins away. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-boom. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba. We'll have a rainy day parade. Got the world in my handbag. I got my notebook too. I got the world in my handbag. I'm gonna give it all to you, and we'll make a long vacation. We'll sweep across the nation. We'll have a rainy day parade. Get back that old sensation. Back on my medication. We'll have a rainy day. Gonna have a rainy day parade. Ba ba da ba da da ba ba da ba 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 ba.
That's a great song. That's from, it's either from Pink Pearl or Happy Dog. Pink Pearl, yeah.
Pearl.
Yeah. Just a terrific song. We're here with Jill Sobule.
Did it work without the timpani?
Yeah, it did. And it did have it does have a sort of Do You Know the Way to San Jose, Burt Bacharach kind of feel to it anyway, right?
Yeah, we were talking about, though, my parents had those records.
Yeah.
When you're little, that's imprinted.
Yep.
So I've always loved, even when I thought, oh, that's adult, that's cornball music. Mm-hmm. As I got older, I was like, that is really good stuff.
Oh, well, Bacharach and Hal David, I mean, those are amazing lyrics too. But yeah, my version of that was my mother had a record, a Sammy Davis Jr. record. Sammy Davis Jr., by the way, was like an amazingly talented person. I mean, he kind of turned into a little bit of a show business cliche at a certain point, but early on, he could do anything. So I think it was called Sammy Sings Broadway. And so she didn't like it. I took it upstairs, and it had like all this Anthony Newley stuff on it and everything. Because like I listened to the Sammy Davis Jr. singing "What Kind of Fool Am I" or something, and for days and weeks and months. And because it was like grown-up music. It was the music the grown-ups were listening to. But I actually, Louis Armstrong said there's two kinds of music, right? Good music and bad music. So if it's good music.
That's so true. Yeah. Well, I just, can I brag?
You want you to brag, yeah.
Okay, the first concert I ever saw, it was actually a second concert. My parents, I must have been like 7 or something, took me to Las Vegas, and this was before it was totally family friendly. And my first concert was, and I hated it, was Jim Nabors. Gomer. I wanted Gomer, and he did all this opera. But the second concert the next night, Sammy Davis Jr. And I just remember him sitting on a chair with a cigarette singing in the ghetto. And, and then he did My Way too. And then he tap danced. And it was.
He sometimes would roam around the stage and play the instruments of the band. He'd play vibes. He could play vibraphone, which he could just do it. At one point, he trained himself to do pistol twirling, holster, quick draw, pistol twirling tricks. And I saw him do it on TV one time, and the audience started applauding, and he looked at him and he said, look, if I wasn't good at it, I probably wouldn't be doing it right now.
And it was in those days that entertainers had to do that stuff. They had to learn how to dance. It was, in those days, like Dylan would have had to tap dance and juggle and...
Yeah, from that perspective, Danny Kaye is kind of the Dylan of his time. He was Dylan who could dance. John Jankowski once said that after Jill's first appearance with us, that nobody figured out how to be on this show faster and more completely than Jill. And I think that's still the case. And so it's certainly a joy to have you here.
I don't feel like ever, even from the very beginning when I had my first interview with you, I didn't feel like it was an interview. All of a sudden it was like, oh, I forgot that we were just having a conversation. I forgot that it was, quote unquote, an interview. It didn't even feel that way to me.
That you confessed to several murders that time. You just clearly didn't know that it was on the radio.
And nothing happened.
No, it was heartful.
Thank God.
They've got bigger problems here. The choir's coming in here.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
This is the
Dan Kosky. Hi, everybody.
Everybody's coming in. So this is the Dan Kosky Tabernacle Choir coming in.
Gosh, I was just going to do the most depressing song, but I'm not going to right now.
I think we should do "It's a Good Life" because first of all, that's a good sing-along song.
But that's true. Good Life. So it is that,
I have the lyrics. Let me check.
The lyrics.
All they need to know is "It's a Good Life." That's the only part where
really
there's a chorus.
They don't.
Okay. Yeah. That's,
so just to give you, this is a happy love song about Armageddon.
Okay.
Tomorrow the ground may shake, like they said it was bound to happen one day. The Hollywood sign will fall, the final call. Don't you fret and don't be blue. You had me and I had you. It was a good life. It was a good, good life. Tomorrow we could all be gone when the Russian gangsters sell the bomb and the waves come roaring from the sea. 100-foot swells over Venice Beach. Don't be scared and take my hand. We'll swim into the promised land. It was a good life. Oh yeah. It was a good, good life. It was a good life. It was a good, good life. Tomorrow a tiny cell might grow, and everyone in it's not the cold, or a hole in the sky will open wide. The aliens land on the 105. If it comes to that, what can we do? You had me and I had you. It was a good life, that's right. It was a good, good life. It was a good life. It was a good, good life. I said a boom, boom, crash, crash underneath the overpass. Burning buildings, flying glass. A good life. On the day the earth stood still, we won't have to pay our bills as the mud slides down the hill. A good life. We won't have to make our beds, break out the booze, and like I said, let's have a ball before we're dead. A good life, let the pious rise above. We'll go down in our sweet love. It was a good, good, and everybody sings 1, 2, 3. It was a good life. Oh yeah. It was a good, good life. It was a good life. It was a good good, good life. It was a good life. It was a good life. It was a good, good life. Woo, woo.